My cheating husband feels he is entitled to me being the mother of his affair child. How he can even demand this is ridiculous to me. I, 23F, and my husband, 44M, have been together for 5 years and married for 2. I met him at the church I started going to when I moved cities to start my career. I work for an insurance company and he was the pastor of this church. I know that we have a notable age gap, but he was always kind to me and made me feel special. Besides his very occasional and brief angry or violent tendencies, our relationship was great. Until a week ago when he came home and told me we needed to talk. He told me through tears that he had been having an affair with one of our community members, 21F, and that she had been pregnant with his twins. She had gone into labor, she and one of the twins died and the other was in the NICU. He said we need to step up and that he wants me to turn my office into a nursery and set up a cot in the room so we can take turns to look after the baby. He told me that being religious he feels it is his duty to make sure his wife follows a good path and does not turn away when faced with hardship. He says he is willing to step up and father the child, and fully expects me to do the same. I became distressed and told him I wanted some time to think as this all hit me harder than Eminem hit Kim back in the day. Before I even had time to think he kept talking. He told me that I had made a vow to him in marriage and that God had blessed us with a child. That this is our cross to bear and that God will never give us something we cannot handle. I told him that it seemed God had given her more than she could handle because she had died. He slapped me for this statement and told me that I needed to serve my husband. He stated that God had chosen me as this child's mother and I needed to be his humble servant. I just feel so strange. Yesterday I cried so hard I threw up. This woman died, yet I feel bad for myself. I feel so ugly. I feel like I have truly seen my husband and he no longer looks kind, he looks his age and very tired. I want to abandon him and the child. My cheating husband feels he is entitled to me being the mother of his affair child. I knew I had to leave but I was very much worried for my safety, especially since he assaulted me previously. Therefore, I didn't leave right away. It just wasn't that easy. I stayed for 2 months. For a while his words caught up to me and I wanted to make it work. I went to marriage counseling with my husband, but it was ultimately fruitless. Of course it was Christian counseling as he insisted. I felt like their goal was for me to forgive him rather than actually trying to help me. I was so utterly alone during that time. My parents and brother are also very religious, so even though they weren't happy with my husband, they kept urging me to do what a good Christian wife would do and told me to obey him. I spent so much time suffering in my own head that I began to realize that I was just going through the motions, doing what I thought people expected of me. I entered a state of derealization for a time, and that was an absolute mind F. The feeling of nothing being real, not even myself. During this period my husband brought his baby home and while he tried to split the cares 50-50 at first, he ultimately didn't trust me to look after the baby because I was lost in space. So he ended up being the primary provider. When I was with the baby, all I could think about was how its existence ruined my life. It'd look at me with big blue eyes and I would just wish it would disappear. I would actively spend time resenting the baby. There was a time when I was thinking to myself and I wished it would fall on its head or be catapulted into space. That was when I knew that I needed to leave. I was blaming a baby and wishing ill upon it, and that was not okay to do. I don't remember much about this time besides that, it's mostly a blur otherwise. I sought services through my work to talk to a therapist, and I eventually came back to Earth. She helped me make a plan. On a night he had long Bible study, I packed my essentials and dipped. I met him pretty quickly after college, so I did not have much to take as far as furnishings. I fit everything I wanted in 3 suitcases, and 4 moving boxes. It all fit into my SUV after some mediocre Tetris skills. I was able to change my phone number online before I left, but I did leave the divorce papers under his pillow with my lawyer's contact info. Kind of like the Tooth Fairy but for adults a-holes. He contacted my lawyer and left some very aggressive messages to me, something that will be used to my advantage according to my lawyer.